So today we're going to talk about how to make a grilled cheese sandwich properly. First of all, we need to heat up the pan and make sure it's nice and hot, because if it's not hot enough, then our bread won't get nice crispy brown edges. So as you can see, we have a pan heating on the eye. We want to go ahead and spray some non-stick cooking spray on it so that our bread won't stick. And then we're going to go ahead and butter both sides of our bread. I use margarine because it works a little bit better. It's easier to spread and it doesn't tear apart your bread. So it really doesn't make that much of a difference. Now that our pan, as you can see, is, well, maybe it's nice and hot. A little bit of steam's coming off. We're about ready to go ahead and start making it. So we're going to pull out 2 pieces of cheese, 1 for each side. And make sure our pan isn't too hot, because we don't want the bread to scorch. We got to give enough time so that the cheese and butter can melt before the bread goes ahead and turns brown. So once we're ready, we're going to go ahead and set them in. And that's the sound you want to hear. You want to hear the butter melting and cooking, warming up the side of the bread. Just fit your 2 pieces in there. And now, we do each side separately before we flip them and put them together, so that both sides can allow the cheese to melt and the butter to melt before we go ahead and actually make a sandwich. Right now we have 2 pieces of bread. And so as this is cooking, we just want to make sure that the pan's hot enough to where it's actually going to cook the butter, but it's not too hot to where it'll scorch it before the cheese melts. Now what we're looking for is cheese that just starts to turn a little bit of a different color and starts to conform to the edges of the bread a little bit. And once we have that, we're good to go ahead and flip the pieces of bread together. And just lay one on top of each other. And make sure they're done on both sides before we pull it out. And you can cook it more or less, depending on how crispy you like your grilled cheese. And once it's done, just go ahead and turn off the eye. Give it a nice little cut down the middle. And that is how to make a perfect grilled cheese sandwich. Now that we've made a grilled cheese sandwich, you can enjoy it either with a bowl of tomato soup or just plain, like I prefer. But just as long as you cook it and make sure it's crispy on both sides like you want it, and the cheese is melted, it's really pretty simple, and it's very, very good.